We have on our agenda one bill. It's Senator Beach's Senate Bill 98. We're looking at LC 392786, and I want to acknowledge that Senator Beach, being not only the past chairman of transportation, but also a GDOT board member, and the great work that he's done to improve transportation in Georgia. And Senator Beach, the floor is yours, and I'm going to turn on your mic, and we'll see where we can go from here to discuss Senate Bill 98 and the freight and logistics.
Well, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for allowing me to present Senate Bill 98. We've presented it, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago at a hearing only. So I won't go through all the detail, but I will kind of go through the bill real quickly. But, you know, one of the things we do know is that that Port of Savannah is an economic engine for the state of Georgia, and even during COVID-19, it has grown double digits. Last year, it grew 16.6%. And when you look at the traffic coming out of the port, 83% of it is on 18-wheeler truck traffic. And our goal through our study commission that we did for 2 years, both Chairman Tanner and myself, was to get that up to 35% on rail and get that truck traffic down a little bit so we can really put a little less stress on our road network. So the goal is to improve the state's ability to move product through our state and improve infrastructure and logistics, and really expanding P3 programs is what this bill does. So I also want to thank Senator Burt Jones and Senator Steve Gooch for their 2 years of hard work on the Freight and Logistics Commission, and I also want to thank the Majority Leader for his help with this bill. So thank you very much to all of y'all. Again, I'm just going to really quick go through each section since we've already had a hearing on this. We'll go over, I'll let Jenna go over the changes that we've made. Mr. Chairman, you and I sat in your office this morning and made a few changes. And I also want to just publicly read, Mr. Chairman, we talked a little bit about what tax increments were. So I talked to I had the commissioner, and I just want to read this into the record. Tax increment financing is used to finance a development based on anticipation of future tax revenues resulting from that development. So it's very similar to a TAD is what tax increments are. So wanted to let you know, because you had asked that question, what that meant in the bill. But anyway, Section 1 deals with the expenditure of state funds and allows for the commissioner to determine what is good for the public benefit and to enhance mobility and promote economic development. Then when you go to Section 2, that deals with the participation of local governing bodies, that they have a seat at the table. Section 3 deals with the reporting of congestion mitigation and letting of projects and approval by the GDOT board. Also in Section 3, we make it very abundantly clear that if you want to be in the state plan for freight and logistics, you have to go through your local MPO first. So that would be, like for you, Senator Dixon, that'd be the ARC would have to put it in their plan before it'd be eligible to go into the state plan. Section 4 deals with the selection of P3s and how that's done. This is where I think we have made a few changes that Jenna will go over. But it deals with a lot of that, and Section 5 expands CERTA's role dealing with P3s and what they can do, parking facilities and so on. And then finally, Section 7, it was very clear during our study commission, and Senator Jones heard the P3 folks say that they were pretty adamant that they felt that the Commissioner DOT needed to have some kind of communication with the Port Authority, and so we decided in an ex officio way to add both the planning director, the state planning director, which is appointed by the governor, and the Commissioner of DOT as an ex officio to the Georgia Port Authority, so that there'd be some communication on freight and logistics investment, and that really is to help us get private investment. So that was the reason we did that. So, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, this concludes the presentation on Senate Bill 98. I would now turn it over to Jenna for those changes we made, and then I'll entertain any questions. Jenna, the floor is yours.
Okay, so on page 5, line 97, basically strike in 97 through 104, we're just going to continue to strike instead of leaving any of that current language. So it'll read on line 97, the department and the designated representative of any participating local governing authority shall then negotiate with ranked respondents. And everything else will be struck. Moving on to page 8, line 173, just the relating to clause will change to relating to powers of the State Road and Tollway Authority. On line 173 in the relating to clause, relating to the powers of the State Road and Tollway Authority, just to clarify that that's who we're talking
Reason-
about.
And we did
The
that.
reason I bring that up is in section 7, we're talking about code section 52, said with the Georgia Ports Authority, and in section 6, we're talking about CERTA, but in section 5, we're talking about CERTA again, but we didn't spell it out, so you could,
So-
going from one section to the other, somebody might say,
Mr.
which
Leader,
authority are we talking about here?
We wanted it to be abundantly clear that it was CERTA in this section. Thank you.
And then the final change is on line 222 and 223. Just moving that new "and the Commissioner of Transportation and his or designee," we're going to move that to behind the word governor. So that it would read, "The Director of the Office of Planning and Budget or his or her designee as approved by the governor," and the new language, "and the Commissioner of Transportation or his or designee shall serve as ex officio members of the authority."
Basically, we want to clarify there that the governor, approves, as the Office of Planning and Budget said, because the commissioner is separate, and, things, never know who's going to be in that role. If you had a sickness or whatever, that person would be done by DOT. And one of the things that, for me, if you looked over when Center Beach was talking about tax increments, my question was on line 28, where we talk about include tolls, fares, other user fees, and tax increments. I was just a little unsure of what that referred to, and
Well, that was the
GDOT
clarification.
language.
That was the clarification that I got
so
for you.
he's clarified that for me, and I'm okay with it.
It's line 127, 128. On line 128, where it says tolls, fares, are user fees, and tax increments.
So that's already existing.
Yeah, it's already exists, and we wanted some clarification what a tax increment was, and we've gotten that now.
And when you look at the bill itself, I want to thank the commission for what's going on. Said with this, Senator Gooch at our last meeting, as y'all remember, had a resolution continuing that study of the Freight and Logistics Commission. Said we're moving in the right direction. So, Senator Beach, I appreciate you bringing this to us. Are there questions from the board, Senator Jones?
No, just appropriate time.
Okay, are there any questions, said Senator Gooch?
You were going over the bill,
You were late.
and I was on a phone call with a school board member, but, have there been any proposed changes to this bill?
We made some changes, yes, sir.
So I have a couple that I'd like to discuss, if they're not duplicates, but has there been an amendment yet, or is that just?
Well, we've made some changes, yes, and I've agreed to them.
So there's been an amendment to the bill?
On lines 95 through 104, what we're actually doing there is striking the up to the point of, on line 97, it will read, the department with the designated representative of any participating local government authority shall then negotiate with ranked respondents. And
Okay.
basically that is, if you think about in terms of a development authority or CID or somebody like that's going into a project, we want them to be sitting at the table in that negotiation. The other clarification that we made was in section 6. I wanted to spell out, because it talks about the powers of the authority, and it mentions authority. Well, in section 5, and previously we're talking about CERTA, but then in section 7 we're talking about the Ports Authority. So I wanted to clarify that this still section 6 is CERTA.
Okay.
And then, if you look over in section 7, we're changing the, moving to the, where it will say the Director of the Office of Planning and Budget, said, as approved by the governor, or his or her designee is approved by the governor, and the Commissioner of Transportation,
Right.
or his or her designee. We're making sure that the governor's approval is only needed for the Office of Planning and Budget.
Gotcha. Can I ask for a discussion on a couple of changes I'd like to discuss making on this bill? Chairman?
Tell me what you want to do.
On line
Senator.
82, that's on your, should be on page 4 if you're, it says to the department, in the words shall engage in individual discussions with 2 or more respondents, that's current law. The new change that's on here, it says may select 2 or more. I think the word may is kind of weak. I think we should insist that 2 or more respondents are discussed. I just hate to see us negotiate.
You want to change the may to a shall?
Yes, I think we should, when we're spending millions of dollars in taxpayers' money, there should be more than one party negotiating for bid purposes. Doesn't require the lowest bidder.
Would you ever see a situation, because I know I've seen this happen in local government, where you only had one bidder on a job?
If
So
we-
if you had that happen, how would this?
I would rebid the project at that point.
Okay.
If you're talking about a $100 million project and you only get one bid, then Houston, we have a problem.
Okay. Just want to make sure we got what we got.
That does happen fairly frequently too, especially if there's, car on it for like disabled,
Right.
minority.
So if we strike the word may and replace it with shall on line 82, that would, in my opinion, be helpful. The same language in the strikes and the replacements on 95 through 103, I think the word on line 102 is being struck. It says 2 or more respondents. I think we need to restore that word 2 or more. Same reasons.
Well,
Respondents being plural, that you've
Yeah.
already made it clear that,
Senator Gooch, I disagree with you on that respectfully. If you're going to go ahead and make that change that you made, that it's going to be a shall, there's going to have to be 2, and respondents is plural, so I don't think you need to do that.
Okay.
I think that's,
I can live with that. And then on page 7, line 169, dealing with the new definition under paragraph C there, it says building structures, parking areas, appurtenances, and facilities related thereto used in connection with the movement of goods or persons. I would like to see us remove the word persons. This is this legislation's dealing with freight and logistics, and I don't think it has anything to do with transit, and I would request that we strike the word persons on line 169.
I think he's trying to get to an autonomous vehicle, and we're not going to have anybody riding in that truck.
I just want to move freight. I don't,
I think
that's
he-
all I wanted. Those are simple
The,
changes. but it's-
I'm good with striking persons.
Thank you.
I'll be good with that.
So we've got a striking.
You good with that? She's got a, yeah.
We-
Let her make a comment, if you
I
could.
would just say that we're changing the definition of projects for all of CERTA, and CERTA does run the express buses. I don't know if there could be an implication to that.
But you're adding that language in sentence C as new language.
Right,
So it doesn't impact what's already in law for CERTA's responsibilities, correct?
I mean, yeah, I guess you have mass transportation in B,
Right.
as long as, you understand, okay.
Okay. I'm good with that.
So we're striking or persons in that
Yes,
on line 169. Anything else, Senator Gooch?
I like it.
No, that's good.
The Leader Dugan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I need y'all to educate me on it. We talked about MPOs in section 3, I think. My understanding is not the entirety of the state falls under an MPO.
Correct.
That's a good thing.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, what happens to those that don't fall under an MPO? It's not a requirement that they have because it doesn't,
Exist.
yeah, so.
I would think. Is that illegal?
I'm sorry, I don't know where we're talking about.
There was,
here.
honestly, I don't know either. It came up in discussion.
Yes.
And it said something about they.
Well, it's on line 48 where it says projects wholly or partly in a metropolitan planning area shall be included in a fiscally constrained transportation improvement program.
So if
But
they're
if you don't
not-
have a tip, then you don't have to worry about it.
All right, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Let's make sure we're all on the same page. Jenna, if you would, I'm going to let you list the amendments that have been proposed, and then I'm going to have maybe our President Pro Tem to second, to make a motion to accept them, said and Senator Jones said to do the same.
Okay, on line 82, we're changing the word may to shall. On line 97, it will read, "The department and the designated representative of any participating local governing authority shall then negotiate with ranked respondents," period, and then strike the rest of that through 104.
Are we leaving line, on line 95 and 96 and part of 97, are we leaving that first sentence?
Yes, so 97 will just say proposal, everything above 97 is staying.
Okay.
Then we have line 169, removing or persons. Line 173, replacing authority with the state road and tollway authority. And then on lines 222, 223, moving the underlined portion to behind the governor.
Senator Jones, I think you had a motion. I'm going to let the president second it, so.
My motion still stands.
Motion stands to pass, I second.
He has amended, or as a committee substitute,
As committee.
said so we have a motion and a second, any other discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes
Thank you,
unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Appreciate it.
We stand adjourned.
That's all.
Praise the Lord.